These are the answers to numbers 3 through 6, so if you can spend a minute checking your answers. If you have any questions on numbers 3 through 6, continue watching the video. If you have no questions and you are done, then you may stop the video for today. Okay, so starting with number 3, we have c to the 4th plus c cubed minus 12c minus 12. I am going to factor by grouping, so I'm going to group the first two terms together, and then I'm going to be grouping the second two terms together. So in my first two terms, what both of the terms have in common is ac cubed. So I'm going to factor out c cubed, basically dividing c cubed out of both terms. C to the 4th divided by c cubed equals c. C to the cube divided by c equals positive 1. In the second two terms that I have, the greatest common factor of both terms is the number negative 12. So I'm going to factor out a negative 12 from both terms, or divide the number negative 12. Negative 12c divided by negative 12 is positive c. Negative 12 divided by negative 12 is equal to positive 1. So what I see in the first group and the second group is that they both have a c plus 1 in common. So I'm going to factor out the c plus 1 from both of the terms. And when I factor out the c plus 1, in the first term I'm left with c cubed. In the second term I'm left with negative 12. So this is your final answer. And again, please make sure that you do check your answer to see that you got it correct. Check it by using the distributive property. Moving on to example number 4, we were given ab squared plus 4a squared plus b cubed plus 4ab. Again, it looks like all four of the terms do not have anything in common, so what we do have to do is factor by grouping. So group the first two terms together, group the second two terms together. In the first two terms, what they both have in common is an a, and they actually don't have anything else in common. So if I factor out an a, or divide both terms by a, I'm left with b squared plus 4a. And then in the second group that I have, both terms b cubed and 4ab, what they have in common is b. And that's actually all they have in common. So I'm going to factor out a b, and I'm left with b squared plus 4a. Now what I see is that in both of the terms, what they both have in common is the b squared plus 4a. So I can factor out the b squared plus 4a from both of the terms. So I have b squared plus 4a factored out of the first term, and I'm left with a. Factor out the b squared plus 4a from the second term, and I'm left with b. And this is your factored form of the polynomial. Again, please make sure that you are checking your answer by using the distributive property. Continuing on to example number 5, you have 4v cubed minus 12v squared minus 5v plus 15. We have four terms in this polynomial. All four of the terms do not have a greatest common factor other than the number 1, so I'm going to factor this by grouping. I'm going to group the first two terms together, and I'm going to group the second two terms together. So in the first two terms, they both have it looks like a v squared in common. And in the coefficients 4 and negative 12, the greatest common factor is the number 4. So if I factor out a 4v squared, or divide both terms by 4v squared, I have 4v cubed divided by 4v squared is v. Negative 12v squared divided by 4v is negative 3. In the second group that I have, the first term has a v and the second does not, so I can't factor out a v. The first term, however, does have a 5 and the second term is 15, so the greatest common factor between those two is the number 5. And actually in this case, since my leading coefficient has a negative in front of it, I'm going to just factor out a negative 5. So in the first term, if I factor out a negative 5, negative 5v divided by negative 5 is equal to just positive v. Positive 15 divided by negative 5 equals negative 3. And by doing so, what I'm left with is a polynomial where both terms have a v plus 3 in common. So what I'm going to do is factor out the v minus 3 from both of the terms. And when I factor out the v minus 3, in the first term I'm left with 4v squared, and in the second term I have negative 5. Again, please do check your answer by using the distributive property. The last example, number 6, I have 3ax plus 12ay plus 2bx plus 8by. Again, check to see if you're able to factor the GCF. It looks like all 4 of the terms have no factor in common, so we are going to factor this by grouping. I'm going to group the first 2 terms together, and I'm also going to group the last 2 terms together. So in the first 2 terms, they both have an a in common, so I could factor out an a. And one term has an x, the other term has a y, so there are no other variables I can factor out. Looking at the coefficients, I have 3 and 12. The greatest common factor is the number 3, so I'm going to factor out 3a from the first 2 terms. So when I factor out 3a, or divide both terms by 3a, I end up getting 3ax divided by 3a is x. 12ay divided by 3a is positive 4y. In the second 2 terms, or in the second group that I have, it looks like I have a b in both terms, so I can factor out a b. I have an x in one term and a y in the other term, so I can't really factor out an x or a y from those terms. Looking at the coefficients, I have 2 and 8, so the greatest common factor between those 2 numbers is the number 2. So I could factor out a positive 2b. So from the first term, 2bx divided by 2b is x. 8by divided by 2b equals positive 4y. And now looking at the 2 terms that I have, the 3a times the x plus 4y, and then the 2b times x plus 4y, what they both have in common is the x plus 4y. So I'm going to factor out x plus 4y from both of those terms. And when I factor out x plus 4y, or divide the first term by x plus 4y, I have 3a, and when I divide x plus 4y from the second term, I'm left with positive 2b. Last reminder, please check your answer by using the distributive property.